Broly would continue to walk around and he looks behind a wall where he then sees the collapsed bodies of his parents. As anyone would in that situation, Broly assumes the worst. He presumes that they've already died. So this was it. Something inside of Broly begins to awaken and it unleashes a surplus of power so extraordinary that Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz are knocked back into their consciousness. Broly was raging with power. A lightning bolt would strike, and just like that, a true Super Saiyan was born. Broly doesn't say a word and silently approaches them. Goldo tries freezing time, but it was impossible to stop Broly. This left them with one option: fusion. All 5 of these Goofies would fuse together to become one being, but it was still only a fraction of Broly's current power level. Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz watch in awe and admiration as they watch Broly just violate this crew. If he wanted, he could have killed them all in just a single punch, but as someone who learned his techniques from the worst martial arts academy, his fighting style still relies on combos. He doesn't stop landing blows until they've all been vaporized down to the last atom. It wasn't a fight. Heck, it wasn't even a massacre. This was just a farmer's adoptive kid taking a couple lame horses out back and doing what he gotta do. Meanwhile, on planet Beerus, however, Whis was forward-thinking and perceptive enough to show this entire battle to Goku. Whoa, that was really cool. Do you think he's a real fighter, Whis? Goku asks. Perhaps. Do you want to see it for yourself, Whis says. Nah, not really. I don't think he's strong enough to be a worthy opponent for me. I mean, maybe he isn't even a real fighter, Goku replies, and he was being dead ass. Not sure how long I'm gonna have Whis keeping up this joke about real fighters with Goku. I think it's kind of funny, but if you guys wanted more context on why Goku keeps using this term, definitely be sure to go check out part 1 of What If Goku Was Raised by Whis. But for now, we'll just keep messing with him. Hey Goku, do you want to fight a real fighter, he asks. Yes, of course, but I don't think I'm strong enough to win against you, Goku replies. No, not me. I have someone else in mind. It's Chaos itself. The incarnation of evil named Majin Buu. To be honest, he'll be the perfect opponent for you to master your Ultra Instinct. You need to fight someone as unpredictable and spontaneous as him, and yes, he is a real fighter, Whis declares. Goku's eyes would of course suddenly light up with excitement as he stands nodding hysterically, hinting that he's ready to have a go at it with Majin Buu anytime, any place. Whis wonders how exactly they should go about this. I mean, he's not supposed to get directly involved with whatever Babidi and the demons are planning, but since it's Goku who will be doing everything, maybe it's cool. Whis realizes that overthinking is not a virtue and decides to just roll with it. Goku and Whis pull up to Babidi's organization. They're attacked by a stupid number of denizens, but Goku instantly takes them all out. At this point in time, Babidi and Dabura weren't ready at all. I mean, they still needed decades of planning before they could awaken Majin Buu for good. Now, moments ago, when Goku destroyed his elite squad, Babidi was fascinated. If he could just put this kid under a mind spell, it'll be so much easier to revive Majin Buu. Though of course, this doesn't work. What's wrong, Goku? Whis asks. Nothing. It just felt like a mosquito went into my ear or something, Goku replies. He was unfazed. He didn't even notice the mind control. Alright Goku, Whis states, I've already looked through this entire place. All you have to do is defeat around the 10,000 or so men that are here and Majin Buu will awaken. Goku will reply, Roger that, and gets on the grind. Funnily enough, Babidi would go on to give Goku that same command, which would in turn give him the impression that his mind control was working on Goku. But this was no coincidence either, no. Whis was playing some 5D chess with everything going on right here, and despite the plain and drab facial expressions he always has, he is having an absolute blast raising Goku. I mean, this is the most entertaining thing he's done in a while. Anyways, from the moment Goku began until he killed the 10,084th soldier, it took him about 28 minutes. He killed all of them with a single fatal blow one by one and also leveled up a lot in the process. Enough energy had been gathered for Majin Buu to awaken, and it would finally happen. After so many millions of years, Majin Buu graces the demons with his presence once again, except the only demons left alive now are Babidi and Dabura. And since Whis asked Goku to basically take care of everything, he doesn't stop when Buu awakens. No, Babidi and Dabura are demons as well, so they had to go too. Alright, I'm done, Whis. Wait, what are you doing? Isn't that my opponent? Goku sincerely asks when he sees Whis using his staff on Majin Buu. Yes, I know. I'm just extracting the Grand Supreme Kai from him to help out this universe a little. It'll also serve as a good excuse if my involvement in this was ever questioned, Whis states. Even though he's having to cover his tracks along the way to avoid scrutiny with involvement, Whis is getting top tier entertainment from all of this. The Grand Supreme Kai expresses his gratitude to Whis and then teleports himself back to the secret world of the Kais. Of course, this extraction would in turn cause Majin Buu to transform back into that smaller, more chaotic, and inherently evil version of himself. Kid Buu versus Kid Goku. Subsequently, back at Earth, in the aftermath of the battle, Broly is seen just standing there for hours, wondering what he's gonna do without them, when the old couple wakes up and calls out to him. As it turns out, they weren't dead, fortunately. They had only collapsed from the exhaustion of trying to run away. In fact, the reason Vegeta was so badly wounded isn't just because he was trying to fight the Ginyu Force, it's because he was protecting them. Meanwhile, a legendary showdown between Kid Goku, who possesses Ultra Instinct, and Kid Buu, which will permanently disrupt the face of this universe, all being monitored by Whis, of course, has now begun. Whis, are you sure this guy is a real fighter? He seems even more full of himself than that Frieza guy. Goku asks a sincere question now. Oh, you bet, kid. Just ignore that stupid dance and cut him some slack. I mean, he woke up after several million years of sleep, Whis states. Oh, so it's the morning blues, Goku replies. As for Buu, well, he was just kind of vibing under the stars in the meantime. I mean, he wasn't paying these niggas any attention. He was beating his chest like King Kong, blowing snot bubbles. He was flying around in his ball form, and then suddenly, he uses the surface of the ship like they were on a trampoline and jumps straight towards them. Goku is observing him, trying to make any sense at all of his movements, but it is literally impossible. Unlike all of the opponents he had faced previously, Buu is the only one whose movements follow no pattern whatsoever. In every sense of the word, he was literally unpredictable. Well, what are you waiting for, Goku? Your opponent's right there, Whis states. He literally just jumped high into the vast unknown. You lied to me, Whis. This isn't a real fighter, Goku replies, but just then, Buu would reappear and land a kick on Goku's head that he didn't see coming. He would barely be able to block it in time, but Goku could instinctively tell that, unlike all of the other opponents he had faced so far, this guy's strikes had some real weight behind him. But Buu doesn't just stop there. He follows up that kick with another one, and this time, he completely shatters Goku's block, and it landed right on his head. Goku stumbles but quickly regains his footing. He's trying to get a proper understanding of how strong he can expect Buu to be so that he can work out his strategy to defeat him, but Buu, on the other hand, just gives off an evil smirk. He's pleased by Goku's ability to block him, but then the fight would break out. Goku would waste no moment in entering his Ultra Instinct state. This is now a battle between pristine movements and chaotic unpredictability. Once that initial novelty wears off, Goku's primal nature starts to take over, and he is enjoying it right now. Buu would come at him from absolutely nowhere and manage to land a hit half the time, and Goku would counter him with perfect accuracy the other half. Now, as this battle is taking place, the universe itself is in a state of distress. Meanwhile, on Earth, we have a totally different type of chaos going on. Life returns to Broly's eyes as he realizes that his adoptive parents are still alive. He expresses his sincere gratitude to Vegeta when the latter finally wakes up, and soon, all of the young boys, Broly, Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz start helping the old couple rebuild their house. Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz are confused though. I mean, they were supposed to find Raditz's brother Kakarot on this planet, not this Broly guy. I mean, they didn't even know that another Saiyan still existed, let alone one this powerful. Vegeta, that greenish yellow hair from earlier. This guy Broly became a Super Saiyan, didn't he, Nappa asks. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Kakarot's hair wasn't that color, so why was his, Vegeta replies. Well, maybe it depends on the individual. Who knows? Your Super Saiyan transformation might make your hair red, Vegeta, Raditz comments. Broly is right there with them, but he's not really participating in the conversation right now. It appears he isn't interested. For what it's worth, Broly still has no idea about his Saiyan lineage. Going back to Goku's fight against Buu, however, things have really started to heat up. Goku's body is slowly becoming accustomed to the fact that an attack could come from anywhere in this battle, which is why he's using his eyes to constantly try and search for Buu's weak points, while the rest of his body instinctively detects and reacts to Buu's attacks. Now, it's all a battle of fine movements. Still, Goku's physical prowess pales in comparison to what Buu can do, and so every hit Goku takes depletes a major portion of his overall health. They're constantly clashing and zipping around the solar system they're in, and Whis is just casually gliding behind them, following them around from moon to planet to wherever. At one point though, Buu notices this, and since he had already gotten pretty bored of Goku, he shifts his attention now. He goes after Whis instead. Whis, being Whis, swiftly dodges any and everything Buu throws at him, all of this while just munching on a snack. This momentary exchange allows Goku to observe them both in third person, and he's able to see it all now. He sees how Whis doesn't even need to look at Buu, and he also notices how Buu freestyles his attacks. He simply changes his mind in the middle of one and does something else. The elastic nature of his body is a real plus for him. It doesn't last long against Whis though. Buu gives up a few minutes in and just returns to chasing after Goku. However, having just gone up against Whis, Buu felt a little different somehow now. In a way, he may have just grown. Almost out of the blue though, he propels himself using an energy blast and comes straight for Goku. Goku maintains a safe distance of course, but it wasn't enough. Buu may not have been close enough to come into contact with him, but he sure as hell was close enough to unleash a gigantic planet burster at Goku. As soon as he saw it, Goku already knew it was too late. He doesn't even try to dodge it. He instead meets it with an energy blast of his own, but what Goku failed to realize is Kid Buu's unknown and uncapped power. Buu's planet burst toasts Goku, but he thankfully survives thanks to Ultra Instinct and manages to avoid the full breath of Buu's energy, but the instant it dissipates, Buu just launches a second one. This dude was a savage. At this point, for the first time since Goku was born 7 years ago, he's terrified. This isn't the same fearless and conditioned Goku that you and I grew up with. No, this is a scared child that bit off way more than he can chew. Ultra Instinct fades away and he's left all by himself right now in front of Buu's indefinitely potent energy blast. Be that as it may, Goku knew that he'd be damned if he let the battle end like this. It wasn't rage or inspiration or even a sudden burst of emotions. It was his primal instinct. When faced with danger of this magnitude, Goku's latent Saiyan abilities awaken and so he transforms. All the Super Saiyan transformations throughout history required some sort of negative stimulus. This required none of that. It was purely out of his pride as a real fighter that Goku would transform, and he would evolve into a Super Saiyan. It doesn't stop there though, as he follows up the transformation with a concentrated energy blast. The intent was simple. Goku wanted to counter Buu's energy blast, so he did this. He succeeds, and the danger of him getting his existence wiped off the face of reality because of this planet burst is no longer there, but by that point, Kid Goku was already exhausted. He had fought over 10,000 fodder soldiers before this fight even began, and even during the fight, he was the only one who ever took any damage, so he passes out. Whis would pick him up, glare at Buu one last time, and then teleport the two of them back to Beerus' planet. Around 10-11 hours later, Goku would finally wake up. "Oh, you're finally up, huh?" the Oracle Fish greets him. "Yeah, what happened? Why am I here? Where's that Buu guy?" Goku asks. Probably out wrecking some more things in the universe. "It sucks, you just weren't strong enough to beat him this time, Goku," the Oracle Fish says. "Wait, what? No, take me back. I've gotta defeat him," Goku declares. "No, Goku, it doesn't matter how many times you fight Buu. The result will always be the same. You may have unlocked Ultra Instinct, but Your body sucks, for lack of better words. Your hardware can't handle someone as strong as Boo right now. Maybe in 10, 20 years you'll have a chance, Whis replies. Don't be ridiculous, Whis. I have never lost a fight, Goku says. Well, actually you just did around like 10 or so hours ago. Give it up, kid. Please. No, never. Excuse my language, but I'm gonna kill that guy, Goku asserts. You naive child. As I said, it is impossible for you to win. Right now, at this very moment in time, only myself and Lord Beerus are capable of defeating someone like Boo. Remember, kid, you lack the hardware to use Ultra Instinct more efficiently right now, Whis states. Wait a minute. Does that mean there are only 3 real fighters in the universe, Goku asks? Perhaps, Whis replies. Their back and forth argument continues for about another minute or so until Goku just springs up and starts punching the air like he's ready to get back in there again. Later that night, when talking to the Oracle Fish, he learns more about Boo and the way he'd been terrorizing the universe since the beginning of time and space. I see, but what about now? Isn't he just free to do whatever he wants? Whis better be keeping an eye on him or else I'm gonna feel guilty for all the lives he's gonna take or the planets he's gonna destroy, Goku asks. The Oracle Fish explains that in the past 10 hours, Boo has destroyed half of an entire galaxy. In the past 10 hours. That's hundreds of billions of planets, many of which probably still had life on them. With this realization, Goku is left speechless. He doesn't even know how much a billion is and damn sure can't count to that, but he can tell that wrong things will continue to happen as long as Boo is out. Why do you care so much, Goku? You didn't even show a reaction when I told you about the destruction of planet Vegeta, the Oracle Fish asks. I don't know, for some reason, this is just different. Planet Vegeta's destruction wasn't my fault, but this one kinda is. Innocent people are dying right now because I lost to this guy, Goku declares. His body still hadn't healed from all the damage he took, but his eyes were more alive now than they had ever been in the past. His last battle had quite literally set his soul on fire. But however real the moral dilemma was, he can't do anything because Whis just simply won't budge. So what now? As he was wondering what to do, Whis appears at the scene. I'll give you a hint, Goku. Just tell me to take care of Boo. That'll easily resolve everything and you won't have to worry about anything anymore, Whis politely states. Though this just pisses Goku off. His soul was already enraged and this just made him even more angry. No, if you're gonna kill Boo, you might as well just kill me too. Listen, Whis, I'm gonna be the one who rids the universe of this guy, Goku asserts. You still don't understand, Goku. Even a child can gossip and chatter. What's rare is action, and you lost. And that's all there is to it. Plus, you're still a child, so there's that, Whis replies. Goku gets up and stands right before Whis. Send me there, Whis. This is a request, Goku asks. His eyes were fuming. You could almost see the flames in them. I refuse, Whis states, and this is the first time I've ever heard Whis refuse. Can he do that? He then smacks Goku on the top of the head with his staff and leaves the room. Give it up, Goku. People die all the time. It's not your fault, the Oracle Fish adds. Yeah, but I lost, and that doesn't happen all the time, does it? Who knew losing would sting so bad, Goku states. Well, you also lost to Whis back in the day, so why does this one sting so much harder? Think about it, Goku. The answer is within you, and oh, forget about trying to convince Whis. When he's serious about something, not even Beerus can make him budge. It's impossible, the fish replies. Goku would walk outside, lay in the grass, and just stare up into the sky. He couldn't help but notice how the sky felt more radiant than usual, though all of a sudden it strikes him. Wait, are those explosions caused by Boo? Goku panics to himself, but there was literally nothing he could do. His eyes felt heavier than usual, and eventually he would fall asleep right there in the grass. He soon finds himself in a space pod, looks through the window and sees two individuals waving goodbye to him with stressed looks on their faces. Goku didn't understand what was going on, but he still teared up. Fortunately, it was just a dream, but when he woke up, those tears were still running down his cheeks. He may have spent the past 7 years fighting strong enemies, and he may have unlocked something as pristine as Ultra Instinct, but this is still just a 7-year-old boy, and his emotions look like they finally caught up with his age. He shakes off the tears and walks up to Whis. "Fine," Goku says, looking at the ground but still standing before Whis. "I'll wait. But can you at least contain Buu? He's gonna eliminate half of the universe if he continues on like this for the next 10 years, Goku asks. "I don't doubt that, but why do you care, Goku? He was gonna wake up sooner or later anyway. Why should it be your fault that all these people are dying?" Whis replies. "It's all my fault because this could have all been prevented if I was just stronger. All of these people are dying because I lost to this guy. Whis, please take me up as your disciple. Train me so that I can defeat Buu. I don't care how long it takes. I'll eventually win against him and then we'll proceed," Goku declares. "Proceed to what?" Whis asks. "The god of destruction, Beerus. He'll be my next opponent," Goku asserts, and there wasn't a single shred of hesitation in his eyes. "Really? Is that right, Goku?" Whis says with a smirk stretching across his face. "You're finally thinking clearly. This is it. You'll need this mental clarity if you want to master Ultra Instinct," Whis states. Whis had been waiting a long time for Goku to mentally mature, and now it seemed like he was ready. Whis uses his staff to open up a portal, and where this room led to was Whis' own version of a room of spirit and time. It's here where he proceeds to whip Goku into shape for the next 5 days. In this realm, Whis would even use the curse technique to summon a carbon copy of Buu and then make Goku fight him endlessly the entire time. 5 days in the real world would equate to about 5 years in this chamber. Goku trained himself ragged the entire time. He was no longer about just not losing. Instead, he wanted to be so strong that it never even made sense for him to lose from here on out. Buu was just the beginning. Think about it. This kid is already focused on Beerus, whom he wants to be his next opponent. 5 days of absolute hell with Whis would soon pass by, and when those doors swung open and Goku and Whis would exit the room of spirit and time, Goku would step out, and even though it's only been 5 days, his biological age now is 12. So he's around the same age as Broly and Vegeta now thanks to this. Speaking of those guys, Buu is done with quite a lot of galaxies at this point. I mean, he has been extra aggressive recently because he desperately seeks that round 2 with Goku as well. So he uses his extraordinary sixth sense to try and find Goku's whereabouts, and obviously he doesn't succeed since planet Beerus is too far away, but what he does find is a similar energy trace which he confuses for Goku's, and he heads straight to that planet. And as you guys have probably already guessed, that planet was Earth. By the time Goku and Whis would step out of the time chamber, Buu was already in the Earth's solar system, flying around like an angry maniac. He didn't like that funny look on Pluto's face, so he blew that bitch up right away. And it isn't just the space agencies who notice this uncanny development too. Broly is taken aback as well as he says, "Hey, someone's coming. Someone strong," he tells the other Saiyans. Meanwhile, Whis would look into his staff to gauge the situation, and he would immediately state, "Goku, we have to hurry, or you're gonna be the last remaining Saiyan in the entire universe. Let's go," he replies, as round 2 of Kid Goku versus Kid Buu takes off in the next video. In the last episode of our What If Goku Was Raised by Whis saga, Kid Buu actually beat Kid Goku. Goku may have already unlocked Ultra Instinct to an extent, but against the chaos that was Majin Buu, he still lacked the, I guess, necessary base stats to outdo or even outlast him. He eventually gulped down on his own ego and convinced Whis to train him for real. This led to the both of them spending 5 whole complete days in the Room of Spirit and Time. 5 days in this room, of course, equate to about 5 years in the real world. Goku's biological age had gone from 7 to 12, and this is going to be our way of kind of allowing Goku to catch up a little bit in age to Vegeta and Broly. It also means that he's now a year older than Raditz. Anyways, Kid Buu is currently on his way to Earth at an insanely fast speed. He's already destroyed Pluto and is desperately searching for more of his personal amusement to just blow up along with him. Of course, if you guys haven't haven't already, definitely be sure to go check out the first 3 parts of What If Whis was raised by, I mean, not raised by, but what if Whis raised Goku if you haven't already. Otherwise, most of the context will probably be up in the air for you. As for the story from here on out, let's jump right in. So as Broly informs the other Saiyans, being Nappa, Raditz, and Vegeta, about an unstoppable force that is making its way towards them, and keep in mind all these guys are still kids at this point, Whis and Goku have just exited the Room of Spirit and Time. Whis checks the whereabouts of Buu through his orb and realizes that there isn't really any time left to waste now. However, Buu was already here. About 5 million or so years ago, this same entity traversed the universe and destroyed countless galaxies. To him, the distance between Earth and Pluto might as well just be insignificant. Broly slowly catches on to this fact as well. What's up, Broly? Why are you looking so stressed? Who's coming? Raditz asked. Someone strong. They're really strong. I don't think we can beat them, Broly replies. Alright, calm down, Broly. It might just be Raditz's brother that Vegeta spoke of earlier. That guy's pretty strong too, Nappa adds. No, I can feel this too. Kakarot's energy was much more refined. This one is too chaotic, and it's difficult to pinpoint where it is exactly. If my intuition is right, it may already be on the planet, Vegeta states. Sure enough, Buu had already landed on the planet, and he's at the South Pole. He came here in search of Goku's energy, but of course, Goku isn't here yet, which is why Buu also isn't being distracted by something flashing in the distance. Meanwhile, Broly's intuition is telling him that he needs to transform and do it now. He does exactly that, and this gives Buu the reminder he needed of the transformation he saw when Goku carried his energy attack. It was the same exact type of energy. Buu would just grin, thinking he's finally found Goku's whereabouts, and having realized what he came here for, he immediately launches himself and reaches Broly's family farm in a split second. Now, he once again feels a little confused because this individual in front of him is definitely not Goku, but this is Buu, so who honestly cares? Buu was ready to fight. Broly wastes no instance in being the first one to attack. He propels himself with the intention of grabbing Buu. The latter was a lot smaller, so Broly knows that if he can just get his hands on him, he'll have the advantage. This was a lesson he remembered from the worst martial arts academy. Majin Buu would excitedly anticipate whatever it is Broly is scheming next. He honestly doesn't care. He even lets himself get grabbed and then blown to bits by Broly's energy blast, just for shits and giggles. Raditz, Nappa, and Vegeta all rejoiced, thinking this was it. Broly had seemingly won, but what these Saiyans failed to realize is that this is Majin Buu we're talking about. Long ago in the past, Frieza's father even told him that there are 2 individuals that he must absolutely never step up against: the God of Destruction Beerus and Majin Buu. However, these same kids didn't have a clue. Confused and afraid, all they can do is watch and observe as he immediately starts piecing himself together, and it appears as though the battle hasn't even begun yet. Luckily for them, before they realize the true extent of the horror that Majin Buu is capable of, Goku and Whis show up. Oh good, there are still 5 Saiyans in the universe, Whis states. He's relieved that Buu hasn't killed any of the other Saiyans yet. Goku looks at Broly and instinctively acknowledges this guy as a real fighter. Regardless of the fact that Broly right now can't even compare to himself in power, Goku's conscience still chose to see Broly as a real fighter, and he can sense something lying dormant in Vegeta as well. All of you guys step back. This guy is mine, Goku states as he then enters Super Saiyan. Raditz looks at Vegeta and Vegeta would nod, hence confirming to everybody that this kid right here is indeed the Kakarot they were looking for. Whoa, so my brother can use Super Saiyan 2. You were right, Vegeta, Raditz says. No, what I saw last time was different. It was much more eloquent and definitely more imposing. I guess Kakarot right now is on a whole new plane. Who would have guessed, Vegeta replies. In their perspective, Goku is so much stronger than them that there isn't even any room for envy or insecurity, just simple, pure admiration. Broly as well chose to let go of his Super Saiyan transformation after he saw Goku transform. "You ready?" he asked Buu as he begins taking a couple of steps forward, and of course Buu would just reply with his usual making a bunch of animal noises. Goku would approach him for an attack, and oddly enough, Buu lets him get a clean punch in. He's planning on shrugging off Goku's attacks like it's nothing, and he does start laughing right after he experiences the full weight of that punch, and yet, about 10 or 20 seconds later, Buu would begin to catch a nosebleed. Fast forward another couple of seconds, and he begins to cough up blood now. Unlike last time when Goku could do little to no damage even with his version of Ultra Instinct, he is now able to fatally wound Buu. This is what 5 years of training with Whis can do to even a preteen. Though it looks like Whis has something to say. "You know, Goku, Majin Buu isn't someone you can defeat by brute force. You'll have to completely vaporize every cell of his being with power potent enough to set the entire planet ablaze," he states. "Yeah, I know, but I don't really want to destroy this planet. I figured I'd just take it nice and easy for right now," Goku replies. "Still, why didn't you start off with Ultra Instinct? I'm curious. Isn't Buu the perfect opponent to master that power?" Whis asks. "I mean, yeah, you're right, Whis, but I also gotta harness the power of being a Saiyan, right? Otherwise, I'll probably never be able to beat you," Goku replies. This will cause Whis to chuckle a little bit. This kid is still hell-bent on eventually defeating for whatever reason. To the point where we could probably say that Goku at this point in time is just using Majin Buu as a stepping stone. "Impressive, kid. Nice one," Whis comments. Going back to the battle now, Goku and Buu are exchanging blows like there's no tomorrow. They're fighting pretty high up in the sky right now because Goku didn't want to needlessly disrupt the sea tides. But when you have a battle of this level going on, it's honestly hard to not affect the surroundings at all. But kudos to Goku for thinking about the planet first. Vegeta, Raditz, and Nappa are just lost for words. It's like a scene from a dream. Only a few days ago, they were still a slave to Frieza, and now they're witnessing one of their own engaging in this level of combat. Goku's larger-than-life presence inspires hope in the hearts of Vegeta, Raditz, and Nappa. It was surreal enough to make one question everything. Broly was also amazed, but his mind was somewhere else entirely. As he observed Goku's movements, he pictures himself fighting this guy at some point in the future. Meanwhile, the battle was really hitting up, and Buu would finally land a kick on Goku so hard that it launches him out of the atmosphere. Goku would then enter Ultra Instinct to kind of cope with the lack of air and space and quickly goes back to the atmosphere, but Buu is nowhere to be found. Did he run away? Definitely not, Goku wonders. Goku would use his boosted senses to inspect the entire planet for Buu's whereabouts, and he quickly realizes that this pink bastard is back in the South Pole for some reason. Apparently he got a little distracted and he went back to uncover what that light flash was about a little while ago. Goku was still dealing with the overbearing heat of entering the atmosphere once again, and rather than going back to the farm, he just shifts directions entirely and lands on the South Pole right in front of Majin Buu. Buu is visibly annoyed at this point. "Come on, stop making that face. We're in the middle of a fight right now," Goku says, but Buu slaps him away and continues walking in the direction of that light flash. Now Goku was kind of curious himself. There was definitely something over there. He walks towards it with Majin Buu, obviously a couple of yards behind him, but whatever was attracting their attention before is no longer there now. Conveniently, this just snaps Buu right back into the fight and their battle begins once more. And this time, Goku knows exactly how he can damage Majin Buu. He unleashes his Super Saiyan state and catapults himself right towards Buu. But before he lands a blow, he goes one step further and enters Super Saiyan 2. Then, in that heightened state, he lands a destructive kick on Buu's neck. Now it's Goku who sends Majin Buu flying out of the atmosphere. Seeing this as his opportunity to finally dust Majin Buu into nothingness, Goku would maintain his Super Saiyan state, but this is when he would also enter Ultra Instinct. This strange form would put an unusual strain on his body that he had never felt before, this being the first time he had ever even attempted something like this. But this would give him the necessary adrenaline rush, power, and speed to instantly catch up to Buu. Right then, at that almost insignificant moment in time, Goku would create a baseball-sized orb of energy above his head that instantly grows to proportions larger than a super spirit bomb. Suddenly, it's like the Earth had two suns. Buu couldn't escape the colossal nature of Goku's attack. It completely envelops him and begins to dissolve every fiber of his existence. Goku would watch his attack just vaporize Majin Buu into nothingness, and then he would simply just choose to head back, flying off kind of like how he did after he smoked Frieza on Namek the final time. His job was done. Whis was still back at the farm with the others, but he was able to show the entire battle to the Saiyans on his crystal orb. As they watched Majin Buu be disintegrated, the Saiyan kids would rejoice, but Whis would simply tell them, not quite yet. When Goku was about to go down to the farm, he notices it too. He thought now that the energy bomb had been released and Buu is being dissolved in real time, everything should be sorted out, but I guess logic be damned, because instead of letting the energy blast distort his existence and just destroy him already, Majin Buu absorbed it. He absorbs the entire energy bomb, spits it out, and then throws it right back at Goku. This would only give Goku a mere instance to plan his next move. He would look down and see that Whis obviously has no intention of stepping in here. So what are you gonna do about this, Goku? His psyche begins to speak to him. Do you plan on dying to your own attack? Are you gonna let this planet and your Saiyan brothers be completely destroyed? And even then, what of Majin Buu? Goku had no time to weigh any of these options. All he could think about right now is facing that energy bomb that was headed his way, and he lets his own body tank it all. If he were to step out of the way, the Earth would have been completely destroyed and everything on it. There was no other way to go about it. Goku had to use his own body to shield the planet. He does it consciously though. Soon, the energy from the bomb would dissipate the moment it hits Goku, and when the dust would clear, neither Goku nor the energy bomb are anywhere to be seen. What happened to Kakarot? I can no longer sense his presence, Vegeta asks. Broly was wondering the same thing, but he still kept looking at the spot in the sky where Goku was a moment ago. But this is when a single bolt of lightning would strike right in front of them, and the entire sky clears up. There, positioned right in front of the sun, someone can be seen waking up. Goku. He didn't sacrifice himself. There was no need. I mean, it was his energy to begin with. He instead could use this as fuel to finally complete the autonomous Ultra Instinct. Yeah, at the chronological age of 7, and his biological age being 12, Goku has finally done it. He's achieved that coveted mastery over Ultra Instinct, and with that, he's now ascended to a level of power that Majin Buu is dreaming of competing with. But I guess purely for the sake of adding a few more details to the story, and to give my power scalers out there a little bit of content too, because believe it or not, right? I know y'all are in a little bit of a weakened state right now, but I'm here. Tech is here. Just remain cool, all right? But this Goku in this story is now at relatively the same level as the Goku who became a Super Saiyan God during the battle against Beerus, who has been completely surpassed at this point. No matter how chaotic or unpredictable he may have been, he is nothing in front of an individual who's mastered the primary technique of the angels, who's mastered Ultra Instinct. This is why, for the first time in history, Buu would feel fear. His survival instincts surface and his adrenaline kicks in. He knows that Goku is a danger to him and he has to go, otherwise things are gonna get really inconvenient for him. Goku wouldn't bother trading any more blows with Majin Buu, however. This would only delay the inevitable. Instead, he conjures up another energy bomb, but this one is much stronger than the previous one, and it mirrors an entire galaxy in terms of energy output. Good. You're finally acting like a real fighter, Goku, Whis comments. Majin Buu would begin to panic and then summons an energy attack of his own. It mimics Goku's energy bomb in terms of sheer size, but does it even stand a chance? Well, both of their attacks would go on to collide, and the collision results in the outset of a disgusting amount of energy. The residue alone from a blast of this caliber leads to an explosion that only happens at the end of the life of a star, a gamma ray burst. Still, Goku's energy bomb proceeds to devour Buu's attack, and it even begins to grow bigger in size. It would also completely swallow up that gamma ray burst and continues hurtling towards Majin Buu. And that was it. Buu was completely out of options. In front of him is a level of energy potency that he can't even conceive. He can't run away, he can't dodge, and he can't counter. As all of this is happening, Goku would even wonder for a moment if maybe it'll be a good idea to spare Buu's life. I mean, real fighters like him aren't just lying around everywhere. He could be a good training partner. But still not the best idea. I mean, after spending so much time with Whis in the God Realm, this version of Goku is a lot smarter than what we usually give him credit for. What he personally wants is no excuse for incompetence. So Goku would allow Buu's existence to be devoured by his energy, and just like that, the chaos that had terrorized the universe since the dawn of time and space had finally been. Goku would then teleport back to Earth and ask Whis, well, what do you think? How long until I can challenge Lord Beerus? Settle down, not quite yet. I mean, after all that, just relax and take it easy. I have an idea. How about I let you hang around with these other Saiyans here on Earth for a while, Whis asked. To which Goku would reply, no thanks. Are you sure? Whis asked. I know you acknowledge this Broly guy is a real fighter. You could use him as a training partner. The other Saiyans could learn a lot from you as well, Whis states. Fine, I guess you do have a point, and I do want to learn more about being a Saiyan, but when are you gonna come pick me back up? Goku asks. I'll return to review the outcome in a few years, Whis says as he looks at his staff. I expect most of you should be able to stay alive until that point. Bye-bye now, Whis says, and then he just straight up vanishes. Well, I guess it's just us now, Goku says as he turns around and looks at the other Saiyans. But for some reason, he couldn't help but shake the last words that Whis spoke. Review the outcome? What does he mean most of us should live? But I guess Goku couldn't worry too much about it right now because his stomach was rumbling, so he took the rest of the Saiyans and they went to go gather some food. Now, about that light flash from earlier that was distracting both Buu and Goku that they saw in the South Pole, well, this one belongs to someone really good called Dr. Gero, and it's basically a router that catches DNA samples of extraterrestrial species in the area. The first flash they saw was when it took a record of Majin Buu's DNA originally, and then it would flash again to report Goku's. Now, Dr. Gero himself wasn't present at that underground lab, but visits a week later, he's amazed, downright bewildered by this new data. It's perfect. No, this is beyond perfect. This is greater than anything I could have imagined, down to the last minute detail. With this, I could create the most perfect life form to ever exist, rivaled by no one, Dr. Gero laughs. Meanwhile, Goku is currently training Vegeta, Raditz, and Nappa on how to transform into a Super Saiyan. You guys kinda suck, he says, for the 100th time since he took them on. Broly, on the other hand, is currently repairing the farm. As for Dr. Gero, well, the record and discovery of Majin Buu's DNA might be the single greatest and most dangerous breakthrough android technology could ever even hope to come across. I mean, he could literally 100 times his productivity. And by proxy, the time left until the emergence of that ultimate android would go from well over a decade to around only 900 days. Goku has been trying his best to teach Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz how to transform into a Super Saiyan, but it just kinda isn't working at all for them. The problem lies in the difference in their perception of power. Goku unlocked Ultra Instinct at the age of 7 and then mastered it after 5 years in the Room of Spirit and Time. As far as he's concerned, the Super Saiyan transformation is insignificant, right? No different than drinking an energy. Though, of course, the other three have been Frieza's lackeys all this time. They may have seen superior levels of strength by now, but they just can't comprehend it. You guys sure you're from the same race as Broly and me? It makes no sense for you all to be this weak. I mean, you're weaker than those alien ants I used to fight when I was like 4 years old with Whis. Why? Goku says. Shut up, Kakarot. It's fine if you say that to us, but don't badmouth Vegeta. He's the Prince of all Saiyans, Raditz replies. The Prince of all Saiyans? He was Frieza's slave, what do you mean? Don't talk such nonsense to me or I'll destroy you, Goku asserts. Hearing this, Vegeta gets up and just leaves without saying a word. Normally he'd be fired up at a statement like this, but right now he knows he's far too outclassed by Goku to even say a word right now. And this has awakened a newfound desire within him, a desire to prove himself to Goku. That day, Vegeta made the decision to not train with Goku until he had at least become a Super Saiyan. Instead, He sought out Broly and forced the pacifist guy to brutally just destroy him, for lack of better words, every single day for an entire month. Raditz and Nappa also kept making progress, but without Goku. He was tired of them. Now all he does is fly around the world and find interesting animals. Meanwhile, somewhere in the universe, King Cold is upset. First, he lost contact with Frieza, and then with the Ginyu Force mysterious. What's going on? It's been almost 2 months. Go get in touch with Cooler. I fear something bad has happened to Frieza. The Ginyu Force should still be on planet Earth. Let's see what they have to say. On King Cold's orders, Cooler is summoned. What, father? Has something happened to your favorite son? Cooler asks. Don't be like that, Cooler. I love you both equally. Anyways, Frieza has gone missing and we're leaving for planet Earth right now. Without Frieza, the planet trading business has started to collapse. You know we can't afford that, King Cold replies. It takes them about 7 days to reach Earth. Vegeta has gained a ridiculous boost in strength since last time, but he still has yet to acquire the Super Saiyan transformation. Good job, Vegeta. You're getting better every day, Broly says. Yeah, well, not quite. At this rate, I'll never even be acknowledged by Kakarot, let alone ever even think about catching up to him. It seems impossible. Just how did he get so strong? I mean, think about it, Broly. Boo was significantly stronger than you, and yet this kid Kakarot just cooks him out of existence. That's like scary good, Vegeta states. Well, there's really no point in comparing our progress to his. I mean, I'd say the person who brought him here is even stronger than that. There's so many strong guys in the universe, Vegeta. It's not just all about Kakarot, Broly replies. For sure. If I had continued working with him, to be fair, we do all owe him one, I guess, Vegeta states. I guess. I would like to fight with that guy, honestly, Broly says. You sure have gotten talkative, Broly. Just go pick a fight with him, Vegeta says. No way, I'll wait until the next martial arts tournament and fight him there, Broly replies. Vegeta wasn't much interested in any of that, but deep down, he was a little cautious of something. Now that Frieza is no more, won't things begin to change throughout the universe, and rapidly at that? What if Frieza's father comes for them? And what if he's even stronger than Frieza? Little did he know, though, that the man in question had already entered the solar system and was on his way here together with his other son. Goku is off somewhere playing with a dinosaur at this moment, but he's the first one to notice the spaceship coming for them, but he wasn't really in the mood for a battle. So he just kinda jumps in the air and launches off a massive energy bomb at them. It reaches them in a couple of hours since they're so far out in the solar system still, but to his surprise, someone just kinda straight up makes it disappear. What the? Goku says. Another hour or so later, King Cold's ship enters the atmosphere. Raditz and Nappa are hunting for food, and Goku still hasn't bothered relocating himself. The only ones there were Broly and Vegeta. Well, I guess it was foolish to think that we'd be able to avoid this confrontation, Vegeta states. The door opens and soldiers swarm the farm, and King Cold steps out next with Cooler. Broly immediately enters battle mode the moment he looks at them, but something freezes him. Seeing this, Vegeta wonders that maybe King Cold is stronger than Frieza, but the one Broly was cautious of isn't King Cold, it's Cooler, and for what it's worth, Vegeta has little to no information on Cooler whatsoever. Whoa, look at this, Cooler. We have two little cute Saiyans here. Isn't that Vegeta? Hey kid, you know something about my son's whereabouts? King Cold asks. Yeah, he's dead. He was killed, Vegeta replies. He may look calm, but Vegeta was fuming right now. This was only the second time he had ever seen King Cold. The first one was back when he introduced Frieza to the Saiyans, and in hindsight, that is what became their ultimate downfall. Vegeta's dreams of getting revenge on Frieza one day are pretty much over thanks to Goku, but he was dying to cut King Cold into pieces. In reply to Vegeta's words, King Cold erupted with laughter. Oh, that was a good one, Vegeta. As always, you Saiyans are so good at making people laugh. Vegeta immediately uses extreme movement to propel himself all the way to King Cold. He catches him by surprise and makes him instinctively put a guard up to his face and then kicks his neck instead. I also consider it a joke that your son was brutally murdered by someone even younger than me. Now laugh, Vegeta states. Cooler could care less about any of this. He was still wondering where that massive energy bomb from earlier came from. It was so concentrated and direct. It can't be a result of a natural phenomenon, right? That was the only thing on Cooler's mind. He pays no heed to Vegeta annoying the hell out of his father. He could care less. However, it only lasts until King Cold finally gets a hold of Vegeta. He grabs him by the neck and begins to strangle him. You've gotten pretty cocky for a snotty little Saiyan. At least your father knew how to bow. Listen, kid, this is how you do it, he says as he smashes Vegeta's face into the ground. King Cold was about to finish Vegeta when someone would appear in the sky next. The king's survival instincts began to scream as he slowly lifted his head to see who was above him. And there, standing on the clouds, was a near invincible kid. We're talking about Goku, and he was asserting some dominance right now. It was like Conqueror's hockey all over the place. Tell me, Vegeta, is that the guy who killed Frieza? The king asks. Who knows? I'd say provoke him and maybe find out for yourself, Vegeta replies. With the arrival of Goku, he knows that defeat is now impossible. Well, even Broly would have easily folded both of them, but now, the absolute pinnacle of the Saiyan race is looking down on the Frieza race. He's doing that without even trying. Subsequently, Cooler had started sweating. Hey, that nuclear blast I absorbed from earlier wasn't a product of the cosmos at all. It came from this kid. I can feel it. This kid's power is unlike anything I've ever seen before. I don't understand. How can a mere Saiyan boy be so strong, he says. Hey, come on now, calm down. He's still just a Saiyan kid. It's not like he's a Super Saiyan or anything, King Cold replies. Goku would overhear this next and decide to have a little bit of fun. Within an instant, he would transform into a Super Saiyan and their jaws would hit the ground. He doesn't stop powering up though and would unleash Super Saiyan 2 next as a little bit of a flex, and this guy Goku even accidentally proceeds all the way to Super Saiyan 3 for the first time. Well, I guess I could kind of get used to this here, Goku exclaims. He was enjoying himself. Seeing this, Vegeta's eyes light up. While he himself was struggling to even acquire the Super Saiyan form, Goku was just jumping through the tears like it's nothing. This sight would completely shatter all of Vegeta's preconceived limiting beliefs, almost as if life itself had opened up for him. Suddenly, something inside of him awakens and everything would become clear. Vegeta releases a ginormous burst of energy and it blows King Cold away. When the latter gets up, he realizes that he's no longer dealing with the average Saiyan warrior, for Prince Vegeta has finally become a Super Saiyan. The first thing Vegeta does is launch himself at King Cold and return that favor from earlier, stomping his head into the ground next. This is also a joke, Mr. King Cold, sir. Please laugh, Vegeta states. Cooler tries to step up and kick him out of there, but Broly's energy blast and Goku's glare leave him paralyzed. He knows that either he stays where he is or he dies. It's obvious now that the Frieza family made a terrible mistake by coming to Earth today. They did this to themselves. Yo, Vegeta, I see you finally whipped out the Super Saiyan. Good job, Goku says. Vegeta gets excited because this may imply that Goku is ready to teach him superior transformations, but not quite. I'll leave training Nappa and Raditz to you. Here, I even picked them up for you, Goku states while dropping them both off on the ground from high up in the air. Vegeta clenches his fist. He's never gonna get anywhere at this rate. King Cold is sweating bullets at this point as Vegeta pulls him out of the ground and throws him right at Goku. Goku doesn't do anything. He just stands there in the sky unfazed. King Cold comes flying right at him, but his imposing aura alone was enough to evade the guy. It's always completely unintentional, but the way Goku just messes with people's heads is enough to give them permanent damage sometimes. Vegeta then gracefully catches King Cold when he's about to fall right back onto the ground and blasts him into the stratosphere. Turns out King Cold's final moments were just him painfully getting burnt to death in the sky as he would explode like fireworks. Cooler would whip out a new trick of his own and sneakily use the energy from that blast he absorbed from Goku earlier to launch himself off of the planet. Goku notices this but doesn't bother taking any action, as who really cares, which prompts Vegeta to fire a final flash on his heels. It eventually makes contact and sends him hurling into the sun, and with that, the Frieza family is as good as done. Goku lands on the ground and gives Vegeta a big thumbs up. "You're finally showing me some promise, Vegeta, well done," he says. "Yeah, but tell me, why didn't you bother going after Cooler?" Vegeta asks. "Because he was a coward." They both were, and to me, a coward is the most despicable thing under the sun. I didn't want to dirty my hands, so thanks for taking out that half-empty bag of trash. "I guess I appreciate it," Goku says, as he was being more or less sincere here. "What's with you, brother? You seem to be in a bad mood," Raditz asks. "Curious why you decided to call me brother. Just because we're Saiyans doesn't mean we're related. Now get up and figure out how to become a Super Saiyan," Goku replies. Vegeta, Broly, Nappa, and Raditz all look at Goku in dead silence. How does one even reply to something like this? Raditz sheds a tear while Nappa taps his shoulder. Anyways, Dr. Gero has been making good progress on conjuring up that ultimate life form we keep talking about, as he also monitored this battle and was amazed by the physical disposition of the Frieza clan. He sends out a few more drones to scour that area to see if they can find a limb or maybe even a blood sample. That would be plenty for Gero to imbue their DNA into his android. "My genius is almost frightening," he laughs frantically. 2 days later, the drones show up not with just some blood or limb. They managed to find King Cold's entire head, and for some reason, he was still alive. "Goodness, how are you still alive?" Dr. Gero asks. "Not gonna lie, I really don't feel alive right now," he replies. Dr. Gero wasn't really in the mood for any goofy conversations, as he places King Cold's head in a pod and continues working on the ultimate life form. Now with this head, he'll be able to make something even better if that was even possible. 2.5 years pass before you know it. Goku has gotten used to this world and its people. He regularly visits all sorts of eateries and uses Broly's championship prize money. Nappa and Raditz still haven't learned how to become a Super Saiyan yet, and Vegeta genuinely doesn't want to train them anymore. Meanwhile, on planet Beerus, Whis is just chilling outside wondering how much will Goku have grown when he picks him up in another 2.5 years or so. And this is when Beerus wakes up. How long was it this time, Whis? I still feel a little groggy," he asks. "It was only 10 years, my lord, but you'll be surprised at how much that kid has grown. He mastered Ultra Instinct over 2 years ago," Whis replies. Beerus is left speechless. He regains his cool and grins. "Alright, take me to that boy. Let me see if he's truly become my arch rival," Beerus declares. Dr. Gero had already finished the greatest man-made biological weapon in the history of all 12 universes. He'll be waking up any moment now. Then somehow there was Cooler. He had crash landed on the sun, and after about 3 years of constantly getting cooked, he finally opens his eyes. Not only is he somehow still alive, but he was pissed at this point. And it was during this 3-year time span of him getting constantly torched on the sun that he too entered a new realm of power. It doesn't really take much for the Frost Demons to get stronger, and well, Cooler was in a state of constant stress while in the sun. His body eventually adapted and he somehow evolved. Be that as it may, his new body is kinda like a double-edged sword still. While it did catapult him to a level of power that makes him feel more confident that he'll be able to take on Goku and the others, his body is like a raging inferno right now. Sooner or later, he'll use up all of his life fumes and certainly die. But he doesn't care at this point. His own existence be damned, as long as he can make those Saiyan brats pay, he'll happily accept whatever fate awaits him. Then there was Goku. When he finally returns to the farm after completely exhausting that prize money, a completely enraged Broly is waiting for him, as Goku is about to find out that money isn't just some paper that you can take from people as you please. After giving up on Nappa and Raditz, Goku started plowing through Broly's championship money, and looks like by now, they've completely run out of cash. Broly screams Kakarot's name in agony. Yo, what's up? Calm down, Broly. Here, have a Snickers or something, Goku says, but seeing the stash of Snickers behind him furthermore heightens Broly's rage. He was gonna develop the farm with that prize money, but now it's all gone. Understandably so, Broly jumps Goku and punches him straight in the gut. This causes him to take Broly seriously now. Goku would then go Super Saiyan and meet Broly's intensity with his own fire. They exchange solid blows for the next 2 or so minutes until Broly somehow manages to overpower Goku. He transforms into Super Saiyan 3 and still, after another couple of minutes, Broly somehow catches up again. Wow, are you for real, Broly? It looks like you really don't have a cap. Guess I'll have to go all out too, Goku says, and then he would enter Perfected Ultra Instinct. In the back of his mind, he was already sure of his victory. Yes, Broly's proclivity to grow is unmatched, but Goku has just experienced it, so unless Broly himself unlocks this state of being, there's no way he can outdo Goku. It should be impossible. Still, Broly's uncapped power level continues to soar. The stronger his opponent, the stronger he himself gets, especially when he isn't in the most optimal state of mind. Yet, all this was doing is giving Cell X the energy to open his eyes. The energy receptors in Dr. Gero's lab are translating all of that energy into organic life force for Cell X. And then, right when Broly unleashes another ripple of power, conjures up an energy blast and throws it at Goku, someone appears between them and casually flicks it away. It's Beerus. Whis and Beerus. Coincidentally, Beerus' tiny gesture and Cell X's awakening happened at the same time. Impressive. Are these kids really just teenagers, Whis? Beerus asks. Yes, my lord. Based on their biological age, all of them are still around 14 years old. If you'd have been a bit more patient, you would have been able to actually have a worthy opponent, Whis replies. Yeah, I know. Listen, my instincts woke me up. This only ever happens when something requires my attention, so I'll be going back to sleep once that's taken care of, Beerus states. Seeing him just appear here out of nowhere and flick away that previous attack, Goku was perplexed. He doesn't know what to think. I mean, this is the guy who gave the orders to destroy Planet Vegeta after all. In a complete fit of fury, Broly plunges forward and takes a swing at Beerus, but he just neatly dodges it and gives him a spanking just like he did Gotenks. This was enough to bring Broly back to his senses. Subsequently, Cell X breaks out of his pod, looks around, and takes a massive breath. By this point, they were still unable to perceive his existence, but this breath implied that he had finally been born, and therefore, the universe had no choice but to acknowledge him. Immediately, Beerus, Whis, Goku, and Broly look in the direction of the South Pole. A moment ago, it was all fine, but now a stupendously potent source of energy has just appeared out of nowhere. This catches them off guard. And the reason Dr. Gero isn't seen making a ruckus or celebrating when Cell X wakes up is because he's already lying on the ground. Lifeless. It's not just him either. All of the life on Earth and beyond, doesn't matter if we're talking about Goku or someone like Pilaf, maybe even Kami. Every single individual is affected by Cell X's birth, but not everyone. Unfortunately, all of the normal humans died instantly. Goku and Broly felt the massive pressure, but they were able to stay in control. Vegeta felt like he was thrown into the washing machine, but he also retained his consciousness. Nappa and Raditz, however, couldn't. They died as well. It's safe to say that outside of Goku, Broly, Vegeta, Kami, and of course Mr. Popo, all of the inhabitants of Earth died the very instant Cell X was born. Interesting. What do you think happened, Whis? Someone killed pretty much the entire planet without lifting a finger, Beerus says. Yes, but for some reason, I still don't sense any malice from anyone. You think this was a mistake, Whis replies. Wait, it's true, isn't it? Within a second, most of the life from this planet was wiped out. Goku clenches his fist and continues. The food on this planet was unlike anything else in the universe. Whoever did this, you will pay with your life. Beerus wasn't interested in most of what he just said, but Goku's statement about food definitely caught his attention. Then there was Golden Cooler, who was currently outside of Beerus' atmosphere, but for some reason, he couldn't help but feel his father's presence there. He could tell something weird was going on. Somewhere else, Vegeta looks at the corpses of Raditz and Nappa with dead silence. Maybe if this was a different reality, he wouldn't have cared so much, but they spent their entire lives together, and for the past 2 years, he gave everything to teach them the art of becoming a Super Saiyan. Vegeta kicks a pebble lying on the ground and says, "If only you'd figured out how to become Super Saiyans, you'd still be here." He then uses Energy Blast to create 2 rays, buries his 2 fingers. What's done is done. Vegeta also heads over to the farm next, but what about Broly? The first time he thought his adopted parents were dead, he went Super Saiyan. In fact, the reason he got so upset at Goku for spending the prize money because he was going to use it to rebuild the farm for them. So now, as he can no longer sense their energy, Broly seems distraught. Everyone has channels in their body that limit the flow of energy so that an individual can stay sane, but all the channels within Broly's body snap. An ungodly amount of energy begins to flow throughout and fluctuate. His very heartbeat changes the weather. Whis and Goku did want to step in, but at the same time they didn't. They were just as interested in what was going to happen to Broly next as they were concerned. But all of their anticipation goes down the drain because Broly's 14-year-old body was simply unable to keep up. The power falls to his knees. He was already unconscious. Goku picks him up and takes him inside the farmhouse. "Get some rest, friend. I'll apologize to you later," he says. Vegeta was also here by now and he was brimming with rage. First planet Vegeta and now this planet? Damn it, he says. As for Cell X, he was goofing around with the penguins. Seems the aquatic life somehow survived. Golden Cooler quickly lands right next to him. He was actually following the faint scent of his father's existence, trying to see if the old man still somehow survived, but when this faint trail leads him to none other than Cell X, Golden Cooler's jaw drops. Well, it's not like he ever cared for his father anyway, he was just kind of curious to see if someone from his family was still alive or not. "Hello there. Which race are you from?" "This is the first time I've seen someone with as many physical features as you," Cooler asks. "I have descended from many races, my friend." "What about you, though? You look oddly familiar," Cell replies. He was aware of the blood that flowed through him. We're talking about energy from Goku, Broly, and Vegeta. DNA, King Cole's genes, and a tiny amount of Beerus' destructive aura. He was a walking universe of catastrophe. Goku, Vegeta, Whis, and Beerus would all arrive on the scene at the same time. Cell X knew they were coming, so he humbly asked the penguins to leave the area. "Kakarot, look, that guy Cooler is still alive and, well, he's with this new guy who added billions to his kill count," Vegeta says. "Step back, I got him," Goku states, and then he proceeds to enter Perfected Ultra Instinct again. "I still can't get over how this kid already has Ultra Instinct down. He might as well be flashing it in my face," Beerus says. "You know, my lord, you could also learn it if you actually tried instead of lazing around all the time," Whis replies. Whatever. Let's just see what these boys can do and what's up with this new guy. He seems like so many people all at once," Beerus says. Even though their conversation is casual and relaxed, the atmosphere itself isn't relaxed at all. Cooler and Vegeta are basically fuming as they look at each other, patiently waiting for the other to give an inch so that the other one can take a mile. As for Goku, he was already landing heavy blows on Cell Max, and by heavy, we mean heavy enough to shatter the Earth's core. Conveniently, Whis is keeping the Earth from exploding on his own time. Though after a few tries, Cell X dodges for the first time, and since then, he successfully succeeded in dodging Goku's every move. Yeah, somehow, despite Ultra Instinct, Goku has been unable to hit Cell ever since the first time Cell was able to dodge an attack. Calm down, son. I don't want to hurt a kid, Cell X says. Son? Don't make me end you. You took the lives of billions of people, including Broly's parents and the chef whose private services I hired. I don't know who you are, but I deem you a player, and I will take it upon myself to eradicate you from the face of this planet, Goku declares. Ah, yes, you're right, but I've been thinking, is it really my fault all of those people died? I mean, all I did was open my eyes, Cell X replies. Shut up. There was intent behind that first blast. You can fool yourself, but you can't fool me, Goku states. Hearing this, Beerus asks Whis to fact check this information, and indeed, while there was intent, Cell X only intended to open his eyes. People died as a side effect from that. I mean, they just couldn't handle being on the same planet as this chaotic mishmash of lineages. Goku continues his onslaught, but it's just no use. Cell X has literal perfected movements, almost as if he had already trained to counter Ultra Instinct. Ah, I see now. That makes a lot of sense. Goku's Ultra Instinct energy was captured and used in the creation of this new fella. That's why he can so easily and naturally dodge those attacks. I'm afraid our Goku won't be able to win this one. His hardware needs a lot of work, Whis says. Damn, that's unfortunate, kid. Well, what do you say? Should I step in? Can't say I'm not itching for some action too, Beerus asks. Oh, please don't. Let the boys see the limits of their abilities for themselves. Helping them would be an insult to that zealous look on their faces, Whis replies. Unfortunately, zeal alone doesn't help you win battles, especially when the difference in power is simply too much to escape. But for the moment, forget about Goku versus Cell X. What about Vegeta versus Golden Cooler? The fight began when a glacier dropped, but from the moment Vegeta punched Cooler till he was hit back, and the entire battle in between, all it took Cooler was less than a minute to completely destroy Vegeta. It was hardly a fight if you could even call it one. Vegeta is still just a mere Super Saiyan. No way he was beating someone like Golden Cooler, who would evolve thanks to the very power of the sun. Cooler makes another blast to finish Vegeta off, but then his eyes come in contact with Beerus's glare. It wasn't much, but it was enough to completely stop Cooler in his tracks. Just like how a gazelle can feel when a lion is nearby so that he can flee, the same thing is now happening with Cooler. Unlike his brother Frieza, he was never told about the god of destruction Beerus, and yet every cell in his body screamed the instant they exchanged glances. Beerus's presence alone had broken Cooler down to a kneel. Now, returning to the battle between Goku and Cell X. Hey, what's your name? How did you even come to this planet, Goku asks. My name is Cell, and as I said, I was born today. Seriously, you must be feeling oddly proud of yourself to come and bully someone who is only but a few moments old, he replies. Cell, huh? Did you come up with this yourself, Goku asks? No, the word Cell was actually written on my pod, but I added the X myself, you know, just to make it sound cooler and a little more complete, Cell replies. Cell X, huh? Well, make sure you apologize to all of the people you killed, because I'm sending you to them right now, while preparing a focused energy beam attack. Now, he had never learned this attack in his timeline from Master Roshi, but the circumstances of this whole situation kind of speak to him on a sort of metaphysical, philosophical level, if you feel what I'm saying, and in turn, allow him to whip out this attack, the Kamehameha Wave. Now, Goku knows that whatever happens, he still protect him, and considering how this planet's life is already dead, he's fully willing to blow up everything along with Cell X. Though as Goku is halfway through gathering energy for the Kamehameha, Cell X notices something which makes him voluntarily approach Goku. And when Goku finally unleashes his Kamehameha, Cell would mimic his motions and counter it with one of his own. It would completely outclass Goku's attack and ends with Goku experiencing the full magnitude of his force. Thanks to Ultra Instinct though, he managed to evade some of it and avoid death, but it still rendered him incapable of continuing the battle. careful, Kakarot. You almost hit the penguin, Cell X states. Yeah, the reason he showed up right in front of Goku's attack wasn't to make Goku feel inferior or flex or anything like that. He was just trying to protect the birds. Oh wow, this guy is totally messed up. What do you think, Whis? Should we get him as my apprentice destroyer? You know, kind of like how Belmont has his own apprentice. I'll be able to retire pretty quickly, Beerus asks. Well, suit yourself, my lord, Whis replies. The battle is over, but Vegeta still manages to get up one last time. His eyes were bleeding, he had multiple fractured ribs, a broken leg, and was coughing up all over the place, but through purely the strength of will, he gets up. However, it was too late. The battle was over. He collapses after another light attack by Cooler. On this day, the Saiyans were completely defeated, embarrassed even. Vegeta exhausted all of his life fumes damn near, Broly self-destructed, Nappa and Radish dropped without even seeing the enemy, and well, Goku? This is the first time he had suffered a loss this humiliating. Whis asked if he'd like him to heal his body, but no, Goku was much too frustrated to accept that. No, Whis. I deserve to feel this pain. I may have lost today, but never again. Listen, Cell, we will come back and we will kill you, Goku states, as he then succumbs to his wounds, blacking out, with the last thing he sees being the two pillars before him, Cell and Beerus. So, what now, Whis? This planet is as good as dead, Beerus asks. Quite the opposite, my lord. This is the first time Goku has suffered a loss this humiliating. His soul must be fuming, and that kind of intensity is enough to make anyone stronger, Whis replies. Hearing this, Beerus recalls the last time he had to give everything during a battle. He smiles and says, yeah, I guess you're right. Cell X looks at the lifeless bodies of Goku and Vegeta, and then, with a gloomy expression on his face, he says, I guess this too is the way of nature. You guys drove those friendly penguins into a corner, but now you're dead and they're free to do whatever they want. Apparently Cell X had already mastered their speech. Beerus himself approaches. Hey, I like you. What do you say about becoming my successor? Cell X takes a proper look at Beerus. He doesn't like the overwhelmingly destructive energy oozing from him, but he didn't want to just brush it off either. So he asks, interesting, but what kind of role do you play in this universe, if I may ask? The god of destruction. I am the one who oversees destruction in this universe. Acknowledge me as your master, and one day you'll bear my position, Beerus declares. No thank you, Cell X instantly replies. He has zero interest in that position. Are you sure? Judging from your physical composition, I'd say there's no better role for you to play in the universe. Just take my seat and enjoy being the destroyer, Beerus says. Destruction is not man's job. Nature destroys and nourishes whatever and whoever she pleases. You don't look superior to nature, so I would say no, Cell X replies. So you're choosing nature over godhood. Interesting. Whis, have I ever been rejected like this before, Beerus asks. How about showing him your might, Lord Beerus, Whis would reply, and Beerus would smirk. Very well, kid. You'll soon understand which one is superior. Nature or the one who destroys it, Beerus says. Interesting. So you're going to destroy me, Cell asks? Sure, but it'd be such a waste. I'd rather we get along. Wouldn't you say, Whis? Beerus says. Come on, Lord Beerus. What kind of destroyer would just walk away from such blatant disrespect? Why not show him the power of destruction in all of its glory, Whis says. Cooler is also still conscious and watching this conversation play out. Alright, I guess you're right. Perhaps I got a bit too excited. Very well then, Cell X, you say you are. I'm gonna come at you with the intention of erasing your existence, Beerus states. In that case, you leave me no choice but to retaliate, Cell replies. The two of them take off and proceed to exchange blows. Cell was too raw and unrefined, probably because of Boo's DNA, but with each blow he tanks, he gets better and better. He was refining it on the fly. Their battle continues for the next 2 days, with neither side giving an inch, but by this time Beerus was getting bored. He was no longer interested in making him his successor, and he just wanted to get this over with by this point. So the next time Cell X even gets close to him, he just shoots him with a Hakai Blast at point blank range, and within an instant, Cell X seemingly is erased from existence. Well, that takes care of that, Beerus says, but he does immediately wonder if this was really a good move, but whatever. It's already too late. Cell X no longer exists, right? Beerus returns back to Earth and is ready to go back home with Whis as he says, "Guess I'll just have to wait a few more years. Let's just make this Goku guy my successor. He isn't too bad either," Beerus says. However, this is when something truly miraculous happens. Right before their eyes, a tiny little cell starts floating around. It starts evolving in size until Cell X is restored right back to his original state. What the? You knew something like this would happen, didn't you, Whis? That's why you told me to go all out, Beerus says. Indeed, I wasn't quite sure, so I wanted you to test it out. It seems that Cell X can't be erased, or at least not the way you usually do, Whis says. What do you mean, Beerus asks. Listen closely and understand this, Lord Beerus. Cell X isn't just one individual. He is a collective amalgamation of billions or trillions even of tiny, almost invisible Cell X's, and here's what's most interesting about this. All of them have an independent consciousness. So unless you consider every single one of them and then use your Hakai, some of them are going to either escape or just be somewhere different. This one happened to remain on Earth while you were battling in space, get it? Cell X is essentially an entirely new race, Whis declares. Yeah, whatever. I'm going back to sleep. Let's go, Whis. I'll take care of this when I wake up again, Beerus says. Whis just laughs. The two of them leave Cell X and Cooler and go back to Planet Beerus. Alright, so what now, Cooler asks. I think I'll remain here with the penguins for a few days and then travel the world and eventually go out and search for friendly life on other planets. Yes, that's what I'll be doing. Feel free to join me, Cell says. Cooler thinks about it for a moment, realizes that nothing good would come if he goes along with Cell and decides to leave. His goal now is to resume his family's business and further increase his own strength, or else he'll eventually die by the hands of Cell X or even potentially Beerus. Time continues to flow and it's already been 2 weeks since Goku and Vegeta were defeated here at the South Pole. Even Cell X has left this frozen land and is currently in the tropics somewhere. At this rate, it's only a matter of time before they either succumb to their injuries or the cold. Meanwhile, at the farm, Broly gradually opens his eyes and sees the faces of two people. It's Kami and Mr. Popo. Goodness, you finally awaken, young man. Seriously, how the heck does one knock themselves out using their own power? You are truly a mystery, Kami says. Mr. Popo agrees. In his hand, we can see that he's holding a bag of sensu beans, and this seems to be the reason why Broly was finally able to wake up. He tries to explain what happened and also asks about Goku and Vegeta, but there was no need for an explanation. Kami and Mr. Popo saw everything happen from the lookout. Next, the three of them go to Antarctica and heal Vegeta using sensu beans as well, but as they're about to give one to Goku, he opens his eyes and spits it out. Thanks, old man, but let my body heal on its own. That's the least I can offer after suffering such humiliation, Goku says. Kami understands and then takes them all to the lookout. All the humans in the world are most certainly dead, but since Kami is a Namekian and Mr. Popo is a genie, they survive. Korn was alive too and, well, hence the sensu beans. Look, I understand that you're the guardian of Earth and all, but that information isn't gonna bring everybody back. Broly's parents and all the friends I made during my food quests, even Nappa and Raditz, they're all dead. The dead can never be brought back and it's all Cell X's fault. I'll kill him myself, Goku states. Well, that's where you're wrong, kid. We can bring them back. You guys just need to find the Dragon Balls, Kami says. Dragon what balls? What the hell are you talking about, old man? What do you mean we can bring them back, Vegeta asks. But with just one stare from Mr. Popo, Goku and Vegeta go completely quiet and simply just listen. Then Kami brings out the 1-star Dragon Ball and shows it to them. So this is what you guys have to do. Explore the planet and search for 6 more of these Dragon Balls. When 7 of them come together, we can summon Shenron, a magical dragon who's capable of granting any wish to the summoner. That's how we'll bring the people back to life, Kami explains. Vegeta asks an interesting question though. You mean one can even ask for things like becoming the strongest in the universe, or maybe even immortality? But Broly and Goku aren't hearing that, of course, so next we would start the quest for the Dragon Balls. Of course, without Bulma, they don't have any type of radar, which means that everyone is gonna have to rely on their sixth sense to find them, and it's definitely gonna take a long time. By the way, I was wondering, if only humans died, why are Nappa and Raditz also dead? They're Saiyans, Vegeta asks. Well, to be fair, we were also out cold for 10 or so days, so maybe they just fell unconscious and you guys couldn't tell the difference, Kami says. Oh, shit, we buried them, Vegeta screams. Oh, so it was you guys who killed them and not Cell X, Mr. Popo adds. Whatever, no use crying over what's done. We'll just bring them back too. But the real question is, how do we get stronger? This level of strength wasn't enough for us to win last time, so I need to find a way to get stronger and fast, Goku says. If my experience is anything to consider, I would say that you'll grow stronger on your own. The problem isn't your energy or skills, it's your physical body. With age, you'll naturally become stronger. Several times, in fact, Kami says. That's not enough. Maybe it is for Kakarot and Broly, but I need something else. Like, how does it make sense for the Prince of Saiyans to be so far behind the only two Saiyans that are still alive? I'm basically the weakest Saiyan in the universe, Vegeta states. Chill, guy. We weren't expecting you to defeat Cell X or even cooler, Goku says while patting his shoulder. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You never take me seriously, Kakarot. Come on, train me to be as strong as you so that I can eventually surpass you, Vegeta declares. Sure, let's come up with a schedule. We'll search for the Dragon Balls during the day and train during the night. So by the time that all of the Dragon Balls are gathered, we're strong enough to defeat just about anyone. I, for one, would be pleased to defeat Lord Beerus. He's the one who orchestrated the downfall of Planet Vegeta, after all, Goku replies. Wait, serious? I thought that was all Frieza's doing, Vegeta says. No, Frieza was just his errand boy. The real reason there are only 3 Saiyans left in the universe is because Lord Beerus didn't like the pillow your father gifted him. You understand, Vegeta? Forget Frieza or his family. We're basically powerless against the real authorities of the universe, Goku declares. Broly couldn't care less about training before. All he wanted was to live a normal life with his parents, marry a proper woman like they wanted him to, and then give them grandkids so that when they're both on their deathbed, they can pass away without any regrets. But this recent predicament got in the way of his parents' happiness. They may not be related to him by blood, but to Broly, his kind parents have always been the single most important thing in the world. He'll bring them back, even if he has to become the demon himself. This is why when Goku and Vegeta are talking, he stays quiet. He was too focused for his own good. From that moment onward, the quest for the Dragon Balls and training begins. Every day they scour a certain area, train there at night, eat wild animals, and then go to sleep. They continue this routine for about a year, but in that time, they've yet to find a single Dragon Ball. It just isn't working. Alright, this is ridiculous. We haven't made any progress in the last year, and Cell X is still on the planet, Vegeta says. Exactly. He hasn't done anything in the past year either. This is good news because we can just continue doing what we're doing every day for the next 365 and eventually we'll win, Goku replies. Yeah, but we haven't made any progress, Vegeta states. Listen, Vegeta, you know the reason I'm so strong is because Whis drilled a routine into me every day since the day I arrived on their planet. If you're saying that you can't delay gratification, then give up. It'll be easier to do this with just me and Broly anyway. I mean, look, I don't even remember the last time Broly said anything, let alone complained, Goku says. By this point, they've explored all of Australia, including the nearby islands. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Broly finally says something. Hey guys, you think there's a possibility we may find a Dragon Ball in the ocean, Broly asks? Now that you mention it, that could be the case. We don't know the exact coordinates, but according to Kami, there should be one in Oceania, so maybe the Dragon Ball we're looking for is actually in the Pacific, Vegeta says. Sure enough, as Broly would split this section of the ocean with a blast, they see something start to sparkle. It was the 5-star Dragon Ball. After one whole year since starting this adventure, the three Saiyans are finally getting somewhere. In the meantime, in between time, however, Cell X was busy exploring the planet while completely hiding his presence, of course, because he didn't want to scare the animals. And then, out of pure coincidence, he happens to come across the Saiyans again as they're about to leave Oceania. So, what now? It's still much too early for a rematch, but exactly whose decision is that to make? Broly is enraged at the sight of Cell X. I mean, last time he lost his own consciousness before even joining the battle, so naturally he's the one who wants a piece of Cell X the most right now. Goku and Vegeta are also not really pleased to see him either. Then there's the water that was forcibly blown out of the sea. It's still in the process of falling back down along with all of the toasted aquatic life. What's wrong with you guys? Just when life had started returning to the oceans, you do this, Cell X comments? Says the dude that took out 8 billion people in a second, Goku says. Oh, was that a lot? Cell X asks, and then he looks towards the ocean. Goku, Vegeta, and Broly look together with him, and what they see next has them in shock. The aquatic life, all of the species that should have been dead because of Broly's outburst, are still alive. Completely unharmed, every single one of them, and they just fall right back into the ocean with the water. Suddenly, massive amounts of tiny particles emerge out of the ocean and start merging. Within a couple of moments, these tiny particles completely take the appearance of Cell X. Good job, Cell X tells the other Cell. The two of them then shake hands and merge into one being again. Tell me, what are you? Goku asked. He couldn't contain his curiosity anymore. He had never seen anything like this. Me? I'm the collective combination of a ridiculous, almost infinite number of tiny cells. Get it? Cell X? The value of X is unknown, and each one of us is capable of independent thought. As long as even one cell remains, our existence will continue forever, Cell X laughs. Hearing this, Vegeta catches on to something. Is the number more than 8 billion? 8 billion? Well, that's the amount of cells I sent after that cooler guy. Is that number a lot? Cell X replies. Goku, Vegeta, and Broly call for a group meeting real quick, huddle up, and discuss everything they know about this mysterious creature so far. What now? This guy sounds beyond invincible, Vegeta says. I guess you're right. Sounds like we'll have to kill just an ungodly amount of tiny creatures that we can't even see, but I don't know. I'm still gonna defeat this guy, Goku declares. This guy? More like we're up against an entire race. Forget it, Goku. Now, I'm not sure if Cell X is even to be blamed for all of those deaths anymore, Broly says. Exactly. I mean, it would be ludicrous to blame a newborn, wouldn't it? Cell X adds as he appears right over their shoulders. It just wasn't making any sense. There was no bloodlust or even negative energy oozing from Cell. Literally none. By the way, guys, I see the reason you blew up the ocean is to find that orange little ball, right? Well, here you go. Consider it a present from me. It has been a year since we last saw each other after all, Cell X says, as he then hands them 3 more Dragon Balls and takes off. He flies straight into the stratosphere, stops for a moment, decides to go check out the sun. No way. That happened, didn't it? How many Dragon Balls do we have right now, Goku asks. Well, 5 if we also include the one Kami and Mr. Popo are holding on to. Just 2 more to go and we're finally done, Broly says. Yeah, but these last 2 are going to be the hardest part. We'll have to scour the entire planet anyway because, well, these last 2 could be anywhere, Vegeta says, kind of killing the mood a little bit. They go back to the lookout to see if Kami has any clue as to where the last 2 Dragon Balls could be. Subsequently, Cell X is just observing the sun. So this is what caused that raging instability in that cooler guy. Glad I defused it before. He would have blown up the entire planet without even realizing it, Cell X comments, and then he leaves. As for where he was gonna go next, well, wherever the universe takes him. He's driven solely by his own curiosity and appreciation. Back at Earth, Kami honestly has no idea where they're gonna find the last 2 Dragon Balls. 3-star and 7-star, huh? No clue, Mr. Popo states. Goku sighs. Guess we better start looking. Once again, Goku and the other 2 continue their daily routine. They search for the Dragon Balls in the morning and train at night. Another year passes by and they're still at it. Then 2 years, then 3 years. After 4 years of this constant daily routine, they finally found the 7-star Dragon Ball in an ornament store in India. But the problem was the last Dragon Ball. By this point, they've already covered the entire globe, surely. What do you think, Kakarot? Should we start again? Vegeta asks. To search for a single Dragon Ball in this entire world without a radar. Whatever, man. I'm thinking about leaving this planet. Kami and Mr. Popo will eventually find the last Dragon Ball themselves and bring everyone back to life, Goku says. He takes another bite out of the dinosaur leg they just fried, but his teeth bite into something really hard and almost shatter. When they take a closer look, their jaws simultaneously drop. It was the 3-star Dragon Ball in the leg of a dinosaur. 5 years after beginning the search, they now have all 7. Shenron will be summoned, and all of the people who died on that day 5 years ago were brought back to life. Raditz and Nappa bulked up quite a bit. They trained and even participated in a tournament in the afterlife, but unlike Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, who are all 19 years old now, Raditz and Nappa are still the same age as when they died. Raditz is 15. As for Nappa, well, he was actually 34 right now. The good news is that they can now turn into Super Saiyans as well. Though, of course, while Goku, Vegeta, and Broly may not have had any major boost, the consistent effort they put in catapulted them several tiers ahead. Goku now has full command over his Ultra Instinct. Broly is no longer at the mercy of his anger and can control the Ikari state at will. Vegeta is still in Super Saiyan 2, but he knows he can feel it. Just one more piece and he'll be able to achieve a transformation that is truly unique to him. Meanwhile, Beerus, who went to sleep again, hoping that the next time he wakes up, Goku is strong enough to be his successor, suddenly wakes up because of an uncomfortable twitch in his eye. "Oh, guess it's finally time," he says. "Glad that you're finally awake, my lord. The Supreme Kai seems to have invited you for a cup of tea. Shall we go?" Whis states. "Sure, let's hear him out. It won't be funny if that guy kicks the bucket," Beerus yawns. Later at the sacred world of the Kais, the Grand Supreme Kai and Shin greet Beerus and Whis as they arrive. "Whoa, Grand Supreme Kai, you're still around?" Beerus asks. "Yes, well, Whis here separated me from Buu over 10 years ago. I've been hard at work fixing the mortal level of this universe ever since. Things have been good lately. Too good, in fact. And that's what we wanted to talk to you about," he replies. For the sake of context, the Grand Supreme Kai was absorbed by Buu over 5 million years ago, but after, Goku and Whis aided in resurrecting Buu so that Goku could have a face-off against a worthy adversary. Whis separated Grand Supreme Kai from Majin Buu, and thanks to his work, Universe 7 is no longer among the bottom-tier universes. "Okay, so what is this about?" Beerus asks. "I guess it's about Cell X. You failed to recruit him as your successor," Whis replies. "You mean he's still around? I thought Goku would eventually handle this guy," Beerus asks. "I mean, even you with your energy of destruction couldn't finish him off. Now that Cell X is around, it seems near impossible for most beings to take him out. He'll continue living until Universe 7 itself is destroyed," Whis explains. Beerus gulps. Whis is exactly right. His durability makes Buu look like a joke, but you know what he's done in these past few years? He's been doing my job. Universe 7 is now in the top 5 universes in terms of mortal level, and that's primarily because of him. He simply goes around visiting planets, fixes up the climate, and solves food problems. He even leaves behind a part of himself to make sure that the planet he saves starts prospering. If Majin Buu was the embodiment of chaos, Cell X personifies order. He's bringing order back to the universe in a way no one has ever done. Previously, only 28 planets had mortal life, but now that number is over 1,000. Listen and understand this, Lord Beerus. Before long, Cell X will rule this universe. You and I could very well become inferior to him, the Grand Supreme Kai declares. Meanwhile, on planet Earth, Vegeta faces off against Nappa and Raditz to try and see how far they've come up, but a few minutes later, a familiar face pulls up again. This time it's cooler though. "Where is Cell?" he asks. "Not sure. Why?" Vegeta asks while bracing himself. He was gonna let him talk, but he very much intended to eliminate Cooler right here. "This puny creature was manipulating my mind. He took over our family's planet trade business and undid all of the havoc we caused over the millennium. Every night, I'm plagued by nightmares. My family's legacy is effectively over, Cooler declares. Seeing him acting so pathetic makes Vegeta laugh. The Saiyans are now at the top of the universe while the Frieza clan is going to be wiped out. Vegeta then unleashes Super Saiyan 2 and destroy Golden Cooler. Cooler could not ignore the lethal amounts of bloodlust coming from Vegeta, so he powers up as well, but with his spirit broken and his sense of self gone, he was just a mere shell of his former self. Even in Super Saiyan 2, Vegeta is able to absolutely thrash Golden Cooler, who is barely fighting back. Those 10 or 20 straight punches to the face force him into recalling what happened, how he was going to use his own life force as collateral to wipe out all those monkeys. He was enraged. Cell X infiltrated his mind and took everything from him. His final goal, his career, his family's legacy, even his sense of self. As the last attempt to make things right, he braces himself to use his life fumes to kill these Saiyans. Suddenly, his power level is blown out of proportion, but Vegeta simply laughs. How lucky am I? I can now end your race for good. Saying this, Vegeta releases all the stress that once held him back as he releases everything and enters a state of flow. He himself doesn't realize it, but Nappa and Raditz see his hair start shifting between the colors of yellow and blue. He was almost glitching. Vegeta proceeds to pummel Cooler. He chops him into tiny pieces and then blows him away with a gigantic ki blast. Cooler had already used up all of his life. Consciousness faded away and countless pieces of his body just fall to the ground. It wasn't a fight, it wasn't even an execution. This was just Vegeta terminating a broken man. It was almost embarrassing. That was cruel. Amazing. That was amazing, Vegeta, Raditz says. Nappa claps. What was that aggression? I didn't quite feel like myself during this battle, Vegeta says. This is when we cut back to the sacred planet of the Kais. Fine by me, I can just relax and chill until someone strong enough to rival me shows up. Let's just let Cell X handle our responsibilities, Beerus states. Are you sure, the Kai's ass? Dead sure. Keep observing him though. I'm gonna go see Goku for amusement, Beerus states. He gets up and leaves along with Whis. Beerus truly could not care who was in charge of the universe as long as it didn't directly affect him. At the same time, Goku and Broly are in the middle of a little sparring match themselves. How are you planning on finding Cell X? Broly asks while landing a kick. I'll wait for Whis to come and get me. Until then, let's just get as strong as we possibly can, Goku replies while blocking that kick. They soon pause their match though as Beerus and Whis appear. Impressive, you sure have grown a lot since I last saw you, kid. Think you can beat me now, Beerus says. Well, let's try and see, Goku declares with a straight look on his face. Vegeta, who was on his way to talk to Goku about his new transformation, speeds up when he notices that familiar presence. He still remembers that the one who ordered Frieza to destroy planet Vegeta was him. Beerus looks from the corner of his eye and sees Vegeta straight up sprinting towards him. In the next moment, Vegeta had already unleashed a major kick on Beerus, but he blocked it with just one finger. That was pretty rude of you. Were you raised to greet people like this, Beerus asks? This is the son of King Vegeta, Whis states. I must say, he has a lot of potential himself. Definitely a lot more than his father. Oh? And how is that King Vegeta doing, Beerus asks. This sick joke would trigger something inside of Vegeta, an aggression that had been lying dormant this entire time, a rage that could no longer be suppressed. Then a blue aura emerges around him as he enters that Super Saiyan 2 state. Vegeta had finally done it, the Super Saiyan Rage state. He kicks Beerus again, but this one packs a little bit of a punch. Beerus was gonna block it, but his body instinctively just dodges it at the last moment. Now, Beerus is actually pretty confused by all of this. That thing that we thought was a sick joke earlier was actually sincerity. Beerus just kind of forgot that Planet Vegeta was more or less partially his fault. Whatever, I'm not gonna let this brat get away with disrespecting me, Beerus says. He braces himself to erase Vegeta out of existence, but the moment he conjures up that Hakai, Goku grabs his wrist, and he was in his perfected perfected Ultra Instinct state. He decides to ignore Goku and finish off Vegeta first, but Broly grabs his other arm. What a pain. You should have taught these kids some manners, Whis, Beerus says. This is when he propels all three of them away by simply unleashing his aura. Listen, Beerus begins. How about this? I'll let you all live for now if you treat me to the finest cuisine on this planet. Even though Vegeta was still in his rage form, the three honestly had no other option but to agree, so they would then meet at the lookout where Beerus is offered a full course meal. Goku, Vegeta, and Broly couldn't help themselves, so they also joined in. Yeah, these four were at each other's throats moments ago, but the simple act of sharing a meal together has honestly diffused a few situations. Pretty satisfied with the meal so far, Beerus would then look over at Whis and ask, well, what should we do? I was only interested in Goku at first, but these other two aren't half bad either, Beerus asks. Well, think about it, Lord Beerus, Whis replies. Universe 7 is rising in the rankings fast. Now, if we can just polish up a few warriors, we'll be able to do something that has never happened. We'll be able to top Universe 1 and Universe 12. The Grand Priest would be pleased, Whis replies. Ha, you stole the words right out of my mouth. I was thinking the same thing. Yes, I'm a genius, Beerus states, and then he looks at the Saiyans. Well, you guys want to train under me, he says. Vegeta would clench his fist and grin. It would be an honor, but do keep in mind that my intention would be to surpass you. As for Goku, he simply replies, you say that, but who knows? I might already be stronger than you, Lord Beerus. Beerus would just laugh. Listen, kid, as long as I'm the god of destruction of Universe 7, I cannot lose. Not to you, not to Cell X, but I'll humor you. Beerus would then immediately enter his Ultra Ego state and fly off into the sky. Goku would follow him next. There, the two of them have a brief face-off. Goku is able to dodge almost all of Beerus' attacks. His mastery over Ultra Instinct is truly commendable, but his attacks just aren't strong enough to do any damage to Beerus. On the other hand, just one hit from Beerus is enough to do some serious damage to Goku. The battle continues on for half an hour or so, and it was a terrific exchange between the God of Destruction and the current strongest mortal in existence. But Goku eventually runs out of steam and begins falling down into the atmosphere. His body starts burning, but Beerus would catch him and take him back to the lookout. Phenomenal work. This kid can take over my job any day, Beerus comments. He was delighted. Finally, interesting times. Beerus asks Broly if he wants to join him too, but Broly explains that he was going to take care of his adopted parents, marry a proper woman, and give them grandchildren. Very well then. I look forward to seeing your kid as well. I'm sure he'll be one hell of a character, Beerus states. Meanwhile, a portion of Cell X has entered Universe 6. Since Universe 6 and 7 exist as a pair, he realized that they have to be in perfect sync or it'll be all for naught. Just like a virus, he was gonna spread far and beyond and bring each place he visits to his absolute optimal peak. Goku and Vegeta say goodbye to Broly, Raditz, and Nappa for the time being, as it was finally time for the